We are, though, enjoying this nice day on the square out here, Matt. Always gets busier on a day like this. And right now, we want to feature a new exhibit at another popular spot in Portland where you can enjoy beauty and history.
Pittock Mansion in 1914 became home to successful newspaper publisher and businessman Henry Pittock. Usually the focus is the 23 rooms, but the exhibit opening Friday features the history of the grounds. Take a look at that video. It's so beautiful up there, a before and after, the transformation from private grounds to a public garden.
Executive Director at Pittock, Marta Bones, joins us along with Seth Menzer from Portland Parks and Recreation as we talk about some of these changes, Seth. Now, I know where people park now, there used to be greenhouses there, but what are some of the other significant changes that have happened over the decades?
Well, from its early Victorian roots to several dates come into play here. And that would be the Columbus Day storm of '62, where it obliterated everything, to 1999 when the Master Gardeners joined forces, to 2003 when a bond passed that allowed irrigation to come. Yeah. Since then, the Master Gardeners have helped the horticulturists create the beautiful grounds you see today.
Marta, why focus on the grounds? What does that add to the whole appreciation of the mansion?
Well, I think it really helps people understand why the Pittocks chose that site.
Yeah.
It's really such a great site. And the mansion is 105 years old, and our last exhibit was on dining, so it focused inside, so we figured, hey, let's take it outside, take in the full estate.
Nice. You know, as you appreciate the history associated with the grounds, Seth, you have to talk about this gentleman, James Skane, who spent about 4 decades caring for the grounds up there, first hired by Henry Pittock way back in, I don't know, early 1900s probably, right?
Correct. Yeah, and I think Martha knows more about him, so I'll let her speak to him.
Yeah, he was hired by Henry Pittock in 1914, and really he kind of got in a little bit with a sly trick where Henry said, hey, can you get me an apple orchard? And James said, yes, I can, though he hadn't learned about how to do that yet. But he worked for the Pittocks for about 40 years and did a great job landscaping, took care of the greenhouses, put in vegetable
lived on the
gardens.
grounds, too.
Lived on the grounds in that building, the Gate Lodge, which is the complimentary building there, raised his family there.
You guys recently opened that building too, and I remember we were talking earlier, I took a tour of that too. It is really beautiful. Yes. So his work can only last for a while. Who's responsible now for the grounds today?
Well, it really is Portland Parks and Recreation and the Master Gardener volunteers. There are about 80 of them, and they're very dedicated. They're up there every Monday, April through October, really doing a great job.
Any future plans, Seth, for changing plantings up there or anything like that?
Not anything in the immediate future, but we always continue to improve and find out what works best. It's basically the best setting in the world for a park. Really so
keep it blooming year-round, right? No matter what the time of year.
Yeah.
Thanks so much for coming by. That new exhibit opens on Friday, runs through July there at Pittock Mansion, so get up and enjoy it.